something that we forget about a lot. That's taking care of ourselves, especially with our insurances, making sure our family is protected, and we don't do that. And so, first of all, I want to welcome you all to our show today. And I have with me a long, dear friend of mine, Mr. Orenthal Powell, and he is here today on behalf of Consolidated Planning Group. He is an agent, and he's going to just kind of give us the lowdown and educate us about why insurance is important and what we're lacking in the Black community because this really affects us a lot. I know it affects my family because when someone dies, they don't have insurance. We got to what you call pass the hat, pass the hat, and get that money up. Sometimes the body's laying there for a week or two, till we get the money because the funeral homes don't budge, and so we're here to talk to you today because you need to educate us on that. But before we get started, I want to thank you for coming on to the show today.
Thank you for having me.
You're a hard man to get.
Yes.
So we blessed to have you today because you're so educated, especially in this area. And whenever I see Black excellence, I salute it.
Thank you.
And so I want to tell you that I appreciate you coming on. And I know you are a native of Chattanooga, so you know a lot about the people here, don't you?
I know a whole lot about our people here.
Oh, yeah. So you've seen a lot. So you all call Maul, call Paul, tell everybody to get on WPTP 100.1 FM radio on your Facebook page. And if you don't have Facebook and you're listening to us live, you can go to WPTP 1001 FM.com and you can hear us live and also click on our live feed and you can see us on our podcast. So I want to thank you all for joining us out there because we're going to give you some powerful words and information today that's going to encourage you and hopefully change your life. So tell us a little bit about your company because, a lot of times people are skeptical about giving their money away to folks and not really knowing anything about the company. So can you give me a little history on the company to make us feel good about doing business with you and tell us why we should do business with you after you do that? So go ahead, Orenthal, and tell us who your company is, how it started, and why you think it's important that this company be here in Chattanooga and help people of color, in particular Black folk.
The name of the company is, like I said again, is Consolidated Planning Group. They were founded in 2017 by Dr. Lewis Burns. Our core flagship product is a whole life product by a company called Senior Life. The focus on Senior Life is it's a final expense product, whole life product. We insure from babies to 85 years of age, and especially, but it also comes with what's called legacy insurance. Legacy insurance locks in your funeral, your vault, your headstone, your urns at prices. So when a person passes, they will be assigned an advocate. They will shop the best funeral home around in the area. They will ship at a discounted rate. Your vault, whatever you choose, your vault, your headstone, your casket, at a discounted rate. So the average person saves with us by about $3,700 in savings.
That's big.
Yes, it is.
Especially because we know the funeral homes offer these products, but if you think about it, the services that they charge you for, the casket that they charge you for, doesn't even include putting you in the ground. The person at the graveyard, they've got to open up the ground for your body, get a vault, and you have to pay for that. And then you got to find another person to do the headstone. So it is, and that gets expensive and more expensive. But by the time you bury one person, whether it's a baby or an adult, you spend sometimes $20,000 because the cost of things have went up. It's astronomical. And so when you can do it all in one package and get the discount, it'll save you money. And in that regard, it'll save you even more grief because you're already grieving because you've lost your loved one. Now you don't have the money or not enough money or got to spend too much money. So that's awesome. So what do you want us to know? Because we still struggle with getting insurance. And I don't understand that because I looked at my budget this past week on what I spent on fast food. Oh my God, I'm not gonna even tell y'all because it's embarrassing. But I know it doesn't matter what your income level is. People go out and spend money. They spend money every week on food, entertainment. You know, think about when you go out to a club or whatever you may do. You going out buying a new outfit, shoes or whatever, and then when you get there, you eat, drink, all that stuff, right? So it is affordable. It's just where our priorities are. So tell us a little bit about that because we see so much of in the Black community where we don't even have insurance and we can't even bury our loved ones. And it's sad that we have to cremate our loved ones because it's cheaper. We don't have the 20,000, but we may have 2,000. You know, and so tell us a little bit about that.
All life insurance, of course, we all gonna know be based on two things. Any life insurance, age and health. Age and health, number one. So number two, and I think what people get the misconception of people is I can get it's so expensive. It's so expensive. How much it is. The insurance product, like our flagship product is Senior Life. We can insure anybody. If I talk to you, I'm gonna get you some life insurance.
Even you got cancer, already got diabetes and cardiovascular disease. Yes. It ain't gonna cost me $1 million though, is it?
It's not gonna cost you $1 million. Yes, it's not gonna. But that's the misconception. You have a now. If you go down to the initials of FSF or the certain other places.
Then we gotta be careful though.
Yes.
Okay.
You're gonna walk in there, and a lot of these places, you're gonna have to take a medical exam. You're gonna have to have perfect health. You're gonna have to have, whereas if you go with me, and I'm not the only one. It's other. I just want people to get life insurance. I don't want you to go with me.
Right. That's the purpose.
But
that's the assignment.
It's the assignment. But I want people to get life insurance, and you don't have to take a medical exam. You ain't got to pee in no cup. Then you got to draw no blood. All they do is what I would do in this process. We'll sit down, meet, talk, ask some health questions. Ask health questions. Then I'm at your full name, date of birth, social security number, who you want to be the beneficiary. And then what I do is I run your what is called your MIB. You know what MIB is. And they run it. They're gonna pull it right there on my iPad. They'll pull it right there. It's gonna tell me what plan you qualify right then and there. I can have somebody life insurance within 5 minutes. 30 minutes on the application, 30-minute application, 5 minutes to pull your medical record, which is gonna pull your pharmaceutical. We get you covered with a plan.
Okay, so that we don't forget. If you all out there listening, I know you're listening all over the world because WPTP is global and international and national. The number here is area code 423-713-7614. That's 423-713-7614. We have our insurance expert here to talk to you about life insurance. That's Mr. Orenthal Powell, who will answer all of your questions today if you just call in. And I want to know one other thing. They ask you all these medical health questions. Some people don't know that they have heart problems. They don't go to the doctor a lot. They don't know they got diabetes. They don't go to the doctor. So if they die and they've said no to all these questions, does somebody come and do some type of autopsy to see how they die, or they just go by the medical, whoever pronounced them dead, the cause of death?
Correct. You said that correct. The latter part is correct. If when I do that policy, I'm doing my due diligence, and they're basing on my word that you don't have those things. Now, any policy, no matter who you get it with, has what is called a 2-year contestability period. Those first 2 years, if I write a policy on Sally Sue tomorrow and she died next week, they're going to investigate it. No questions asked.
They do the autopsy.
They don't even do that. What they'll do is here's what they'll do. They're going to say, all right, I submit my death certificate. I have my submit death certificate. They're going to investigate. They won't really do an autopsy. They're going to ask their coroner, their doctor, a whole lot of questions. A whole lot of questions.
So if they find that you do have all of these issues that you didn't even know you had, does that mean that the family don't get the policy paid at their death? Have that ever happened?
It does happen, but that's when somebody flat out lied. Okay, because they're going to base they're going to base it when I run that policy. They're going to base it off your pharmaceutical totally. Okay, if it doesn't come up on that pharmaceutical, you good.
Okay,
it's at the time of insurability. If I write a policy and a year later you get cancer, sarcoidosis, all these things, it's based on the time of insurability.
Okay, so they're gonna base whether or not they're gonna pay your policy at the time of death based on your health on the day that you took out the policy. So if you develop diabetes or cardiovascular disease or any of these cancer, they're still on the chain for paying your policy, irregardless.
Correct.
Okay, that's good, because there's a lot of people that when they take it out, they're 18 years old. Now they're 70. Okay, they paid this policy all their life and they've developed cancer. But at the time that they took out the policy, they did not have cancer.
Correct.
So I just want to make sure that they won't try to go backwards on you and say, "Oh well, you told us that you did not have cancer, but you got cancer."
And that's the thing about again, I won't say no name, but it's certain companies that advertise on TV that'll say, "Oh, you can get a coverage for $20 a month." What they don't tell you is all of those come with a 3-year wait period, 2 to 3 year wait period. And then what they don't tell you is they're going to start you out at $20 a month, but next year it's going to go over to 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 100, $200. Now they know you can't afford that. Eventually you're going to drop it.
They just took all your money and drop you when they hike the price up.
And they're never going to have to pay out. They never have to hard pay out any claims.
Let's go to the next person then.
Go to the next
so
person.
These people are predators.
Correct.
They're predators. They take advantage of people and then kick them to the side and pick up another person.
I treat everybody like you, my mama, or my daddy, or my sons, because stuff come back on you.
Yeah,
stuff come back on you.
That's good. You already. I told them before we came on the air, I got 10 policies. And you make me want to take out an 11th policy.
There we go. We're going to do it. She said it.
Yeah. I said it live on air. And the reason being, you could never have enough, especially if you're a professional. I work with my hands. I could develop arthritis and won't be able to pick up a tool ever again. And so I know it's not replacement income. I got something for that. I mean, I just can't do nothing. I got replacement plans. But the point is, you need to make sure that you're covered, because the worst thing to do is to pass away and leave a burden on your family. Or when you're 18 and 19 and you know you about that life, right? Y'all know what I mean, right? You know you about that life. And that at any point in time, no matter how old you are, when you're young and about that life, you don't know how old you're going to be. You may die tomorrow. Take out insurance while you out there wilding out, or your children wilding out for the parents, because sometimes my kids are irresponsible. Go ahead and cover your children. All of my kids, they have insurance on their own now, all of them, but I got it on them too. One is married, he's covered by her husband, but what if he loses his job? Let's talk about that a little bit, because some of us women in particular, we really rely on our spouses to cover us with medical, dental, life insurance, and then something happens to their job. So talk a little bit about why it's important for everybody to have their own policy. And I know that for a fact because I was once married to someone that had good insurance, but when they retire, or if they're not a part of your life anymore, they're going to cut their insurance off on you, right? We just know how the game is. I'm honest. I'm very transparent. So when their insurance go away, you don't have any.
That's right.
Now what? If you were 21 or 22 when you got married, and now you're 45, that policy is going to increase because of your age. Because you were just saying your age, and what else was it?
Age and health. Age
and health determines your, at the time that you write the policy, will determine how much your premium is going to be. So talk to me. Do you have any experiences with that already?
Yes.
Where that has happened to people?
Yes, because what people do is, the first thing they'll tell you, I got insurance with my job. I got insurance with my job. Number one, most life insurance policies with your job do not roll over with you if you leave that job. It's a part of the group package. Most, like probably 90, 95% of them. And we all know the packages we getting now aren't what they were 30, 40 years ago. When my granddaddy and my they were working. They're not it's not the same.
Right.
So I know some companies, it's a standard $10,000 term, and it may be, and most times it's a term policy.
Yeah.
Most times it's going to be a term policy. 10,000. That's standard. That's what's standard with any job. Okay. All right. You quit the job. Okay. They'll tell you it rolls over. What they don't tell you a lot of times is it rolls over, but it's going to be 5, 10 times the premium, because they got to offer you something legally.
Right. I know that. That's right. Because when you leave a job and you got medical coverage, they'll offer you this insurance. What is that called? I can't even remember. It's kind of a tie over. But it's so expensive. You can't afford to pay that medical insurance.
Yep.
You know, because your company got the group rate. So it's at the low. Now you're an individual. And they can't offer you that, I call it that bulk price. You know, you get a bulk price, it's going to be a lot less than if you're just, a single person or individual.
And see, that's, I'm sorry, I mean,
go ahead.
And see, that's what goes on, because I got insurance. A person says, I have life insurance. I have life insurance. Okay, they're giving you a group rate. They're a group rate is based off the group's health and age. The group, you leave that job, you get fired, you get terminated, have to leave the job. Now you got to go qualify for life insurance. You've been there 20 years. Now you got diabetes,
right?
High blood pressure, and I can still cover with diabetes and high blood pressure. I can still cover with diabetes and high blood pressure. You may have sarcoidosis. You may have. I know people. They got to have the insurance because they leave their job. They're almost uninsurable. I could still get them coverage, but they're almost they're uninsurable by most people. Still understand they're uninsurable. So they stay on a job because, shoot, that's one thing. They're uninsurable.
I see a lot of elderly people go back to work at Walmart. You see a lot of people are going to work not for the money, but because insurance is so expensive and health care is so expensive and medication is so expensive that they can't afford to live without insurance. And so they go back to work for the insurance, not for the money, but for the insurance. And so one of the reasons why you're on the show today is to talk to people about having a separate life insurance policy from what their job is offering, because we change jobs a lot.
Everybody independent contractor now.
Yeah, you're on your own when you leave your job. You're on your own now, so you need to have your own insurance set aside from what your employer offers you, so that when you leave or when you have to go, you don't have to. Well, you won't be staying around putting up with some stuff just because you can't afford to have insurance for your children. Some people have 5 and 6 children, and they got the family group rate for their children, but lose that job and quit. Or your wife may be wanting more kids, and you got to go to the hospital, labor and delivery, all of those expensive items that you have to pay for. If you don't have insurance, they stay on the job just to cover their kids. And if you're a father who has to pay child support, most courts require the father to have insurance on his kids, not the mama, but the daddy.
Yep.
And so this is for all the single fathers out there who are, co-parenting with the moms, and you're having to pay child support, and you've been ordered by the court to keep insurance on your kids, and your job may be shaky. You better get your own policy. And that's where Orenthal Powell and his company comes in with the Consolidated Planning Agency, because they can offer you good life. What about medical? Do you all divvy in that at all?
No, I'm strictly life insurance. But I have connections to help everybody.
Y'all heard that. So when you call him, and we're going to give that number out because we want people to be able to call you directly, and a website or an email, because sometimes you go to the website, you may get another agent. So we want to make sure that when you're calling his company, that you get him. I know how that works.
Yes.
I know how that works. You go on the website, they'll assign you to who they want you to have, but you can go to you directly through your email and your phone number, and pick up your clients directly to you. So can you give them, number one, your phone number, and then number two, your email.
Number one, my phone number is 423 355 3302. Again, that's 423 355 3302. And I always give out everybody on social media.
Everybody.
So I guarantee you, I'm the only Orenthal Powell you gonna ever meet.
You got that right. I can just put ORE, and the rest of it just pop up like nobody.
It's 3 Orenthals on Facebook, and I'm one of them. Orenthal Powell. I'm on Facebook, and I'm also on Instagram as well.
Okay, spell Orenthal.
ORENTHAL. Last name is Powell. P as in Paul, OWELL. Fun fact, you want to know my middle name is?
What is it?
Euphrates.
Oh, no. Spell Euphrates.
EUPHRATES. When God was creating the rivers, he created the Tigris, Euphrates, and Jordan.
Wow.
And my daddy named me Euphrates.
Oh, that's powerful.
Orenthal Euphrates Powell.
That is powerful.
Orenthal Euphrates Powell.
So go out on Facebook, because I know everybody has social media, and on your search bar, put in Orenthal, ORENTHAL, Powell, POWELL, and he will pop up. Mm-hmm. Just hit him. I know it works because I was calling him to make sure he was coming in because we was getting close to the hour, and the number that I had didn't work, so I went on Facebook, and all I had to do was put in ORE, and then that Orenthal showed up. I said, "That is." I clicked his name. So you got one of those names that not a whole lot of folks have. You're right. So we want people to reach out and call him directly at 423-355-3302. And you can go out on Facebook and hit him up. He does reply like really quick. I think you got your phone on you at all times.
Yep.
And it lets him know that he's getting a message. ORENTHAL, Orenthal, Powell, POWELL. And so now, what is so important that you want to tell us? Because you were saying you wanted to educate us. What are some things that we need to be educated about, other than the things that we've talked about already?
Number one, not insurance on yourself, but your parents.
That's it.
My parents,
your parents.
I'm obligated. My parents. I have policies on my parents, and they're in good order. But I'm their son. So they already have life insurance, but you can get insurance on your loved ones. You can get insurance on your kids. You can get, and the company I have, the product our flagship product, Senior Life, allows you to put anybody that's an insurable interest, that we can prove that you're insurable interest, meaning, shoot, you may be my friend, you live in my house, you're insurable interest because you're paying me income. That's insurable interest. That's insurable interest. So you can put just about on anybody that legally allowed you to put insurance on them.
And I like the fact that you said your parents, because I just had a situation where it was a patient of mine, and they had just buried their parents and their mother, and they thought that the mother had insurance, and she did at one time. Mm-hmm. But as our parents begin to age, they forget to pay certain things like the policy, their insurance policy, and they got the policy sitting in the drawer or wherever in the house where they keep all their paperwork, and you thinking that insurance is good, and they have canceled the policy because they didn't keep up with the policy premium. So it behooves children, like you said, to make sure that your parents have insurance, and if they do have it, to make sure you're continuing to pay the premium, or to take out a policy for your parents so that you have full control and you know that they have insurance. Because when they pass away, it also is a grieving period just to know that you won't see your loved one anymore. But it pushes it a little bit deeper when now you got to bury, mama's taking care of you, daddy's taking care of you all your life. And now that one thing that you need to do, you can't do it because you don't have the money. Here we go again, passing the hat around. And so just as a point of loving your parents and caring about them because they cared about you all of your life, you need to make sure that your parents are covered so you can bury them decent and in order. So I love that. And we keep talking about that because people get Alzheimer's, they get, all kind of mental illnesses, and they don't take care of their business because they can't or they don't remember. And so we need to be in our parents' business. And I know my parents, they were real secretive. Your parents are just secretive. They don't want you to go to the doctor with them. They don't want you to. They don't want you to know about their business. They don't want you to get in their financial business and stuff like that. That's that generation. Now, as we get out of their generation and get into the folks that were born in the 60s and 70s, we are less like that. But the folks that was born in the 40s and 50s, oh no, they don't want their kids to know nothing. And it's because this is the way they were. Everybody was private, and things that happened in the house better stay in the house. Now these kids telling everything. They wild. And so parents just are more secretive in that age group. But even if they're not in that age group, you still need to be aware of what's going on with your parents, and take care of them, and make sure that you have their. And it's sometimes it's kind of morbid, and creepy, because every time I talk about death with my kids and me, and now they say, "Mom, I don't want to talk about that. Why you got to talk about that?" Because it's reality. This world is not our home, and we don't want to see our loved ones go. We don't want to see our kids, on the street and mishaps happen, or you could just be in a fatal car wreck. It doesn't have to be that you in the streets, living that life. It's just when it's your time, it's your time. So you need to make sure your children are covered. You need to make sure children need to make sure their parents are covered. And like you said, if you got loved ones and you know that they don't have insurance, I've got a few family members that I have policies on with their permission. It's not no $100,000 policy.
You don't need that much.
Just 20,000 to make sure that they can be buried. Not trying to live off of nobody's insurance, but we need to make sure that if you love your loved ones, that you see after them.
And you made a vital point. I need to make sure I say, when they say they have life insurance, you pull their policy out, you call the 800 number on that policy, and make sure it's active.
That's it.
Because people are like, I got life insurance. I got life insurance. They may not even have life insurance, or it's not what they think. I found it went on in our communities years ago. They were paying these penny policies. You paying $1 to a month, $1,000. Yeah, the policy being paid off. It's paid off because it gathered up so much interest. It paid off. But shoot, you can't bear nobody for no $1,000. You can't even get a cremation for $1,000.
Sure can't. Not now. Unless you bury them in your backyard.
Unless you bury them in the backyard.
And burn them up in the backyard too. Bring out the barbecue grill. Been a barbecue daddy. We ain't got no insurance. Or get that burn permit.
I'm gonna tell you, fast.
But yeah, so we are really here at WPTP educating Black folk and people who really don't have the access to the knowledge, which can be anybody. And that's so important, because if you don't know, you can't do.
That's right. Our people perish
for the lack of knowledge.
Knowledge is acquisition of facts.
That's it. So, we're here bringing valuable resources and valuable information to our families, because we love you, and we know that if you don't hear about it, then you won't know about it. And so I tell people, when I get a chance to, when I'm on the mic, I remind people that the number one purpose for starting WPTP radio was to empower, to engage, and to educate Black folk and poor folk and folks that did not have access to information. And so this is our tool to reach out to the community, because if we can get educated, we can do better. And so this is powerful, having a microphone where we can spread this wisdom and this knowledge to them. We're going to continue to do that. I know the FCC, when I wrote them to get this station, they wanted to know why do we need a radio station in our community? Because we have so many radio stations. Y'all know that. You know, I mean, all over this city. And the one thing that struck them the most, because they didn't have to give us this radio station, you got to give them a reason. The one thing that they were amazed about and was so excited about was that we were going to impact a community that was lost, forgotten, or did not have the access to information. And it wasn't being done on the other radio stations. They were not interested in music because we got country radio stations, R&B, rap, you know, we got all the genres that play music all day long. They were not interested in that. The reason why we got this radio station is because we let the FCC know that we were going to use it as a tool to educate, empower, and engage Black people and folks who were downtrodden, to bring them into the fold, to be better citizens and to live better. You know, because if you know stuff or you're empowered with knowledge, you're going to live better. You're going to live better. And I want to thank the thousands and thousands of people who were praying for Autumn Park Development Corporation, which is the parent company to our radio station here. We presented a $3.5 million budget proposal. And I know I'm very transparent because folks say, don't tell everybody what you do. Don't tell everybody, you know, the people don't like you. They go out there and they try to stop you. You cannot stop what God has for us. You see? So I'm very transparent. We presented a $3.5 million budget to the county on Wednesday. And they were very impressed, as the mayor was impressed. That's why he put us in his budget request. But we need 5 votes. And I hear we got 7 of the 8 that were there. No, 7 of the 8, because we don't have one commissioner, because I think they got another position at the state level. And one of the 8, one of them was not there. Of the 7 people that was there, we got positive feedback from all of them. And so we're trusting in the Lord that we will be blessed with that, so that we can come back to the community and bless you even more. And this proposal included a nonviolent and violent crime prevention task force. And it will, going through that program, we have experts such as Judge Boyd Patterson, who is on board with us. He led the gang task force for Chattanooga years ago when the gangs that got out of control. We have a diversion program included in that. You have so many people arrested that the jails are just crowded with nonviolent offenders. So if these individuals can be routed to Autumn Park Development Corporation through our violent and nonviolent prevention program to do community service, we can free the jail cells and get those nonviolent offenders out, and they will be under our auspices. We've been doing that, but in a very quiet, kind of low mode, where an individual will come to us and ask us to help them, and we will go before the judge with them and say that if you turn this person over to us, we will give you a report on the community services that they're providing for the community that we serve. And these people are then turned over to us. We report back to the judge to make sure that they're progressing. And that way they're not in jail, and also help them get jobs so that they can come out the street and do better. That's the goal of that program. And then also we have a workforce development program. I've been doing it for a long time. Y'all know I have a college that I taught for 20 years, EW Professional Career Training Center, where I moved young women and men from welfare to work for 20 years. And then my college was a board-approved program at the state of Tennessee level, and the board and the dentist here in town. And we moved many women from welfare to $50,000 and $60,000 a year paying jobs. So I'm good at that. So we will do some more of that training. But there are other programs. I want to thank Mr. James Moreland, because he will head up that a workforce development program. We have so many different opportunities. He's already contracted with major corporations across this city. We have a daycare 0 to 4 Our licensure should be complete in the next couple of months. And we have job opportunities that will be opening out of that program, training our babies. There is no reason for a child to go to school and not learn. And it starts with the foundation, really with the womb, the baby in the womb, educating the mothers and the daddies on what they can do to stimulate the dendrites and all the neurons of the brains when their babies can't even talk. So that sets them up to be able to, like a sponge, receive information when they get one and two. When you excite those neurons, it also increases their intellect. And so you want to stimulate babies with touching, holding, reading, talking, seeing different lights and colors, bright colors. All those things are very important to foundational learning. So then when they get to kindergarten, they are ready for the kindergarten level of work because you've been working with them from when they were in the womb. The mother knows what to do at home with the babies because we're educating them and the daddies, right? And then when they get to kindergarten, they're on the right grade level at kindergarten. See, we've been talking about third grade. If a child is not reading on the third grade level, then it's the probability of them having problems throughout school increases tenfold. So if we start with the womb and work that baby up through good education in the 0 to 4 age group, and then grab them at kindergarten, every age is important for babies when you're talking about learning and helping them to succeed in school. Babies or children don't like math because they were never taught or introduced math when they were 2 years old.
That's right.
You can introduce math to babies at 2 years old. I do it with my grandbabies every day, you know? So it's important that we have good quality schools. So with Autumn Park Development Corporation, and I thank God for sending us our educational director. She has her doctorate in early childhood education. Dr. Sanders will be over that program, and we have so many other people we're partnering with, UTC and some of the other schools around with early childhood education. We're bringing the absolute best for our children. We're bringing the absolute best to help break down crime in our community. We're doing our best and bringing the best in job force or workforce development so that we can give our people opportunities and training. Mr. Mullen said it really well. If you can't read, how can you do an application? And if your application isn't good, how are you going to get an interview? So you got to prepare folks. One, how to do the application, getting the application done, and having the contact or the connection with different entities in the city that say, yes, if you send us 5 people, we're going to try to hire those 5 people. Because most of us, if we can't read and write, we know how to work.
That's right.
That's why the trades was so important. And I'm glad that we have a new trade school, but we're going to be doing trades here as well. That $3.5 million budget passed, we will be doing roofing, painting, brick masonry, all the things, carpentry things right here on a lower scale, because I know they have the new school that they're working on. But I asked one question: how many folk that look like me that need that type of skill training will get in that school? So we will offer a alternative or a complement to what they have, because we need that school. Don't get me wrong, but we also need to help people that don't nobody else want to fool with. Y'all know what I'm talking about.
That's right.
There are some folks that don't nobody want to deal with.
Right.
Give them to us. Give them to us because we can take pinto beans and cornbread and have and fatback and have a real good meal and get fat off of it. You understand? We don't have to have the steak and potato. Give us the pinto beans and the cornbread, and we know what to do with that. We know what to do with Ray Ray and Tay Tay. We know how to talk to Ray Ray and Tay Tay. And we know how to get their attention. And they're going to receive it from us. So that's a cultural thing. And we understand Ray Ray and Tay Tay. You see, it's a cultural thing. And I'm not saying anything, to be whatever y'all want to say it is. I'm transparent and I tell the truth. And that's one thing about me that maybe some people don't like. I'm boldly honest and I love my people. And I understand what our challenges are because I came from nothing. College Hill course, welfare mom, nothing. But somebody gave me an opportunity. Somebody understood my barriers and my challenges, and they worked with me. You understand what I'm saying? And that's what we have to do with Ray Ray and Tay Tay. They can learn, They might can't read and write that good, but we can put a hammer and a screwdriver in their hand, and they can build a Taj Mahal. Am I right?
That's right. That's right.
That's what I'm saying. And that's what the trades will do. Because everybody is not going to make it in college because they don't have the 0 to 4 educational background. They weren't on the reading level in the third grade. And they never caught up. In fact, they hated school because they never caught up. How are you going to send them to college to fail? Right? There are alternatives to college. And that's coming from a college graduate with 3 degrees, biology, chemistry, and a doctorate. I know that everybody is not equipped to go to college, and we need those alternative forms of education, and the trades is one of them. And so I thank the mayor, Mayor Coppinger, for allowing us to get in his budget for consideration. And I thank those wonderful folks that sat there and listened to our PowerPoint presentation on Wednesday. They asked us nothing. They were totally 100%. And that was God. I want to thank all of our experts that's part of this budget for coming to support us. They were there. We had a room full. And that's what, when we do things together, this is something I'm going to say, and I love all my brothers and sisters, black, white, Hispanic. I love all of them. You understand? But one of the problems that we as black people have is our inability to work together for the good of all. And the forgiveness that we need to have in our heart when somebody does something that may offend you. The forgiveness that we need to have in our heart, because none of us are perfect. So when somebody does something wrong, when we were back in the day, we would get chastised for it. And at the same time, they would wrap our arm around it because it hurts. It hurts when somebody chastised, but they never wanted you to fail. That was called love. So you would get put in your place, but they never hurt you. You understand what I'm saying?
Especially in public.
They never hurt you in public. Never did that. That's why your parents will say, when we get home, I'm going to tear your butt up. But now the younger folks say, I'm going to whoop you right here. Wherever you act up, that's where you're going to get whooped. Right? So things have changed. But the one thing I remember is that we were chastised by our neighbors, by our aunties and uncles, people who were considered the wise counsel. We were chastised when we did wrong, but they loved us at the same time. And then they pushed us to do better. So we as black folk, I'm going to say it because this is my radio station. We as black folk need to understand the power of love, and at the same time, the power of chastising with love, so that everybody can succeed and working together. So Wednesday was a sign of strength and power, because black folks was in there together pleading for the mercy on those who were elected on behalf of everybody black in this community, because the money is going to go to the black community. It's not coming to me. I got my millions. I don't need that. You understand what I'm saying? It's going to go to this community to help make our community better. And you can hold me accountable. That's why I got a CPA. That's why I got a fiscal officer. And we got a board. Don't nothing get spent unless it's spent right. You understand what I'm saying? And I let them know that, because my name ain't written on not one of those sheets to receive no money. But it's on there to give, because I have a Mercy Dental Clinic. I've been doing that for 34 years. I've been a dentist for 34 years. I have been giving free dental care to folks that cannot afford it. And so I will continue to do that alongside with my dental practice, which affords me the opportunity to give back. You understand what I'm saying? And so everything that we do is done with excellence because God expects that. He gave us this facility for $1. For $1. Took it out the mouth of a church that had it, wanted to be it. And the church gave it back because they didn't like the conditions upon which they thought they were going to get the building. You understand? Gave it back. And we had bid it $1. This is how God worked. When I saw it in the newspaper, and I tell this story because it's a testimony of what God can do. I saw it in the newspaper. Well, that church who did not get the property of the black church was going to give them this building. When that pastor said, I changed my mind, because the Lord, number one, had talked to him. The other black preachers in this community, they said, stick it together. Said, I changed my mind because that building means more to the community than it does to my church. I got a church. And when he wouldn't swap his building for this building, the white church gave it back. I'm going to call it what it is. And I called the attorney for the school board and said, we still want it. And we went back before the school board. And they gave it to us for $1. And the man that was supposed to take the dollar said, God got that. So we didn't even pay $1. I said, well, what about the deeds? We got to pay for the transfer of the deed. He said, God got that too. So we got 48,000 square foot building for $0 with 8 acres of land because God gave it to the people of this community. He did not give it to me. He gave it to the people of the community and trust in me to do the things right to empower our people. That's why we got the building. And you cannot touch that. And if we get $3.5 million after the vote, don't get mad because that money's coming to you. If it don't come to you directly, it's going to help your child or your grandchild or your cousin or your nephew or your niece or your granddaddy or your grandmama. Somebody going to benefit because it's the programs that we have that we're asking for that money to support. So remove jealousy, strife, and hate, and remove my face. Remove my face because it ain't about me. It's about the people. God's people are going to benefit. I'm going to die and go off somewhere to see the Lord. And this will still be here because God sanctioned it. And when God sanctions something, it ain't nothing you can do about it, but just get mad. When you get mad at Jesus. So watch that. Watch that. Watch it. I got a phone call today from Washington, D.C., from a representative that said, Dr. Woods. I said, yes, this is Dr. Woods. Eleanor Woods, yes, Eleanor Woods. We're calling to inform you that you have received the Presidential Lifetime Achievement Award of the United States of America, Joe Biden. And I couldn't say anything. My tongue was, and that's the first time I've ever been speechless. Y'all know I talk. But I was speechless because I don't do anything to get any type of award. I give awards out. Y'all know that. And I'm humble that somebody nominated me. Somebody saw that. I'm humble. I'm not prideful. I'm humble by it. Because when you're serving God and God's people, God has taken care of me for all that I've done. So I don't need nothing else. God has taken care of me. He blessed me with beautiful children. I say it all the time. Now grandchildren. I lived in the best home. I've driven the best cars. I've had all the money a person could ever want. I've traveled around the world. I've done everything as a little girl that I dreamed to do. So I'm good. I'm good. So maybe I ought to put that on my tombstone. She good. See? She good. Yeah, she good. So everything that we're doing here at Alton Park Development Corporation, which is the last African-American community development corporation left in Hamilton County. We started with 6. All the other ones have dissolved. And they dissolved mainly because of lack of funding.
Money.
But I volunteered my time here. I continue to volunteer my time. Our officers volunteer their time. We don't have a high paid executive director. When I served in that role for the past 10 years, I not took a penny, but we kept the lights on. When we got the building, when it was awarded to us, we didn't have any money. That's how God blessed me. When you give, God will bless you sevenfold. You'll never be hungry. You'll never go without. And that's what I live by that. I live by that. So if I give you $2,000, I'm gonna get 14,000 back. And it happens. It's strange, but it does. That's why you're supposed to give your tithes and offering. You ain't gonna miss it. Strangely, it'll come back in a crazy kind of way. I have never got an income tax return. I've always had to pay. And I went to the mailbox and I opened it up, and it was from state of Georgia revenue. I said, "Oh Lord, what I done down there in Georgia? You know, I owe some money. Oh my God!" And opened it up, and there was a check for 2,800 some odd dollars for a refund check. I overpaid on my state taxes, and I was like, "Oh my God, I've never had a check. Never since I've been a dentist have I ever got a check." I should have took a picture. Maybe I did take a picture, but I say that to say this: it was unexpected, and I took it and planted some seeds with that. And so I'm very humble. Uh, by anything anybody do for me, I'm very humble by it. And you can trust me to know that if I've given over the past 34 years to this community, I would never take anything back from you. I would never take anything. And we're gonna let 3.5 million is gonna seem like 30 million. The way we're gonna spend it and use it. Watch and see. Watch and see. And it's good to see Mr. Jimmy Allgood in the house. Hey, he's getting ready to go. And I know this is your show, but I got to say that because Jimmy is going to Las Vegas on Friday. And he's going to have a big concert over there in Las Vegas. And me and an entourage of folks, we're going to take off and we're going to join him. So we'll be gone from Friday. We're flying out Friday and we'll return Monday night. So I want to give him some love from WPTP and yes, some love from WPTP and let him know that we love you and we're going to continue to support you and your business and music. And we already know some stuff. This man is about to blow up. Y'all see him now? But I'm telling you, better touch him now because he's already got his music is climbing the charts like crazy. His music is so wonderful. I love to listen to his music. So if you haven't checked out Mr. Jimmy Allgood, go to Spotify. Number one, go to Spotify and type in "It's All Good," and all of his featured songs will pop up. And we know that they've moved up to is it number two? One, which one is number two? Moving on is number two. I love all of them. I love Crazy Love. I love Let Me Be the One. I mean, it's just so many beautiful songs. He's that real good traditional R&B artist, that you just rock to. You're sitting around the house or you're barbecuing with your family, that good wholesome music. I absolutely love it. You're on your way to the very, very top. Well, you're already on the top here in town. You got your own day. Our Mayor Tim Kelly, has awarded you with the Jimmy Allgood Day. Every March the 26th is Jimmy Allgood Day. And I want to say that he has a foundation called Peace in the Streets, where he's working with the community and the young folk, which trying to stop the violence. He was affected personally with a niece or cousin. One of the ones that was shot and murdered on the west side was his family member. They have not found the killer yet. And so he's very passionate about this, stopping the violence on the street and bringing peace to the streets. So I want to thank you for that. A lot of artists make it big and they don't come back to their community. He's been doing that even before he got the big record deal. But a lot of our people become successful and they don't give back. They just keep it to themselves, kind of, I wouldn't say selfish, but everybody don't feel the way people feel like you feel. And so when we have a person who's made it and they're giving back to their community, y'all support that. Go out and download his music, buy his stuff, Spotify. You can get it on all the major platforms. So please go out there and download his music. What is $1.99? Yeah, to download it. Less than a medium-sized fry at McDonald's. Go download that just to help him out. If you don't do nothing else, help him out. Send him to the top. He's getting rated by Nielsen rating now, which is major. That's like really major. So I want to just say, well done, and we got your back here at Chattanooga. And we're watching you. In fact, a bunch of us going to Las Vegas. I told somebody today, I'm shutting down my office and losing some money on Friday to go spend some money. I said, so I must have some crazy love for you. So we all going there. We're going to be there to support you. So we're looking forward to it. So thank you for being here today. He's doing his auditions today, y'all. So he's still needing a keyboard person. We might have found that person. One of our engineers that's here today running the boards plays the keyboard, and I think his drummer and lead guitar player. We've got 3 background singers. He's still needing a soprano, I believe. Let's see, first soprano. So if you all think you got it, you all need to hit him up and audition for him today. He'll be here today, and I don't know how many more days before you leave. You'll be here, but hit Jimmy Allgood up. You can find him on the social media, Jimmy Allgood, and hit him up and let him know you're interested in touring with him. You get paid, okay? Y'all get paid when you tour. He ain't no broke artist. So he's got a real record label behind him. So if you feel like you got it and you interested in the entertainment field, make sure you all reach out to him because he the real deal. He the real deal, and I'm excited. So I hate to take away your interview, but I had to do that a little bit. It's all good.
It's all good.
It's all good. So, and I see he been working out. I see he got a little bicep going on. Today he didn't wear a jacket, y'all. He got his white beater shirt on. I see some biceps and some triceps. You looking good over there. Put a little oil on that. You can go do a little body. What they do, the good contest for the bodybuilder contest. Yeah, he getting it together for Las Vegas. So you're looking good. Keep up the good work with what you're doing. I did want to introduce our newest addition to WPTP, which is Kurt Greenwood. Kurt Greenwood is a neighborhood person. He's handling those boards today. So amazing. And what's great about this is that we are interested in hiring people to work for us and to be a part of Alton Park Development Corporation, especially in this neighborhood. And he lives right across the street in Emma Willer. But this man has so many talents. He's worked in the radio. You would never know. You don't know what you got in the housing project. This man has worked the radio station before. I forgot 20 years. How many years of experience? About 15 years. He's been in the industry. He's got sales, marketing skills. When he sent me his resume, first of all, I just said, but we do have our preconceived.
Yeah.
You know how we do.
Yep.
And so I said, well, send me a resume. So I wasn't thinking nothing big. I thought he was going to just type up a little something, maybe handwrite it, And see, that was me and my prejudice, right? And he sent me his resume, and it looked better than mine. I was like, oh, my God. And it was his format, his spelling, the word choices that he used. This is a very intelligent young man. And so he lives right across the street in Emma Willer Homes. And he is talented. Look at him running this board today. Y'all see us? He running this board. And it took him maybe 20, 30 minutes to learn the board. He's worked the board, but every boards are different. Depending on what radio station, the tools are different. So it took him maybe 20, 30 minutes of a little crash course, and bam, he had it. So I want to thank him for reaching out to us. He left a note saying that he was interested in being a part of all the. He didn't ask for no money. He said he won't be a part of it in the community. And so I called him, and here he is. And now, he plays the keyboard. So after we get off the air, he going around to the event hall that we have here, and he's going to audition for the keyboard position with Jimmy Allgood. So see how things work, you know? And that's what it's all about. Us helping one another. And don't have preconceived ideas about people. Give people a chance. And that's what we tell employers. Will you interview with them? If you interview with them and you like them, you're gonna push out whatever's bad about that person. You're gonna give them a chance. But it's getting in that door. Sometimes people don't even get in the door. They won't even let them get in the door. Because when he left the letter and said he lived right across the street, I could have said, oh, heck no. Right? But I know how life is because somebody opened up the door for me. I said, I'm going to call him. And fell in love with him. First day I met him, just fell in the call it gullible, whatever. But fell in love with him because of his mannerism. Just a perfect gentleman, number one. Extremely articulate. So I said, I know you're not from Chattanooga. He's like, no, I'm not. I'm from what, North Carolina? North Carolina. But still, the point is, we have to give people opportunities and chances. And that makes the world go around. Stop being so stuck up and snooty because God blessed you. But you may be one day away from being jobless or broke yourself, right? If you ain't got, they say 6 months of money in the bank if you lose your job. I say that's too. In 6 months, 6 months roll fast. Yep. Like it's already about to be June. You ain't got a job yet. You finna be homeless. So it's more than 6 months with me. You better have a bunch of money in there. Money for about 2 years of paying some rent or mortgage or whatever, and your light bills and all your little insurances. Because you can't let that stuff, fall. So please, you all, let's work together. Let's put love, even when you have to chastise somebody, do it in love and continue to put your arms around individuals and help them to move up. That's what we got to do. That's my message for today. That's my message. Excuse me. That's my message. So I'm going to turn the last word and give the last word to Mr. Orenthal Powell. And before I do that, y'all make sure y'all go to a church tomorrow or go get on virtual, listen to your favorite church. But that's the way I feel. Anyway, God has been too good to me. He's been too good to you for you not to give him an hour or two of your time. Make sure you go and give the Lord some praises and thank him for your blessings and for the mercy that he has given us and graced us with. Because we all on I call it the last days and on grace. We're all on that. So with that being said, you all are welcome to come to Greater Emmanuel Apostolic Church at 400 Tunnel Boulevard, where we receive you with open arms and we get down. We get down at Greater Emmanuel Apostolic Church. So if you don't like music, you don't like praising and dancing and thanking the Lord, don't come there because you're going to catch on fire. All right. If you don't want to catch on fire, don't come there. If you come there, you're going to catch on fire. Well, Pastor Paul Warfield is our pastor. And we want to say we love you, Pastor, from the radio. He has a show that comes on here every Wednesday at 4:30. So y'all be sure to tune in. So, Mr. Orenthal Powell, give us our last words.
Orenthal E. Powell. I offer policies from $1,000 to $30,000. No physical exam, no blood draws, no peeing in a cup, nothing. Have you insured in less than 30 minutes. Give me a call. We already said 423-355-3302. You can also on Instagram, Orenthal E. Powell. Also on Facebook, Orenthal E. Powell. Love you all. Looking forward to hear you anytime.
All right, y'all heard that. And since we're global, international, you don't have to live in Chattanooga.
Correct.
You hook him up anywhere in the world. You all are listening. I know they're listening because our viewership is big, big. So if you're out there listening, give him a call. And until next week, we're going to say peace out. Have a great and lovely day. Y'all have a wonderful day. Thank you.